I'd like to talk a little bit about a book I read called Good to Great. It's one of the best business books I ever read. And as I remember, this is out of context, of course, but I remember he talks about CEOs. And they did this 5-year study about what makes a great company, and they investigated what makes a great CEO. And what they found was that the best CEOs were the guys that you don't hear much about. Like you hear a lot about, like Jack Welch, he's written a book, and Lee Iacocca, of course, he's written a book for famous CEOs. But through their investigation, they found that these guys were not the best or the top CEOs. What they found were the best CEOs had a couple things in common. And I think what he says in the book is one of the things they have in common is that they're humble. And another one is that they're driven. Now, in the training I do in Sales Out of Service, I change those names in a sense because it fits the paradigm I teach. And the paradigm talks about leaving your ego off the court, which is the same as kind of being humble. And the other one is when I teach the methodology for accomplishment, we talk about the idea of commitment, who you are as your word. You create a commitment. And as far as being driven, the same thing. We're talking about a commitment. So when you go on the court, you become your commitment. And if you look at this, it's basically the same thing that is talked about in the book in relationship to great CEOs. That instead of being humble, you're leaving your ego off the court. And instead of being driven, you are your commitment. And that's what we teach in the training.